Have you ever heard somebody say there's free money out there? There's money out there. You just got to go get it. There's grants, there's sponsorships, there's loans, there's small business loans. There's just, you just got to know where to look. You just got to go get it. You just got to apply. And you're scratching your head like, what? Where is it? How do I get it? What do I say? Maybe you haven't. And if you haven't, I'm here to tell you yes, it is true. There is free money out there. And I am going to share with you 5 tips. Let me make sure it's five. Hold on. Yeah. 5 tips that I learned in the pursuit of this free money. This free money. All right. Welcome back to the Hospitality Hacks Pro Show, where we give you tips, tricks, and tidbits to help your food and beverage operation run just a little bit smoother. Okay. We love to talk about topics centered around culinary arts and hospitality. And today is no different. Thank you for being here. I am your hostess with the mostest, Tasha Jackson. Let's dig in. Y'all ready? Y'all hungry? Let's dig in. All right. So I have been blessed over the past I won't even put a time frame on it. Because to be honest with y'all, I have not been diligent with this process. I have not been diligently applying for this free money that's out here. But every time I have thrown my hat in the ring, it has come through. So I'm gonna tell y'all what I've learned from these last three or first three sponsorship or grant opportunities that we have been able to acquire. Okay. And one of my personal goals for this school year, the cool thing about being a teacher is kind of like you get 2 chances at New Year's resolutions. Because January, people are in the mindset of it's a new year, it's a fresh start. What can I do? What are my goals? What are my aspirations for the year? Right. But when school starts, we do the same thing. Right. So for those of you who are new to the show, I'm a high school teacher in the Charlotte, Mecklenburg area. And we get kind of another spark, right, after January, because it's the beginning of a school year, which doesn't necessarily line up with our yearly calendar, but I like it. All right, so I'm fired up. um and one of my goals for this school year is to definitely pursue as many grant opportunities as possible, sponsorship opportunities as possible. And I'm going to quantify that with a number. Because when I say as many as I can, it's not really a concrete goal. It's not specific, right? If you're familiar with SMART goals, you need to be specific. So y'all hold me accountable to that. All right, my folks who are friends to the show, hold me accountable to that. When y'all see me next time, talk to me next time, I should have a specific number of how many grant opportunities we're going to throw our hat in the ring for this school year. A specific number. All right. But let's talk about this free money real quick. It's not a lie, y'all. So the biggest opportunity to date that we've been able to get is $5,000. And that's a nice amount of money, right? That's nothing to turn your nose up at. I mean, I could do something with an extra 5K. I don't know about you. It's a nice amount of money. So here are the 5 things that I kind of, in my reflection of, okay, how were we able to do this? What made us kind of stand out? Because it's highly competitive, right? What made us stand out to be able to acquire this particular grant? All right. This also information I'm going to share. This also applies to, I mentioned grants and sponsorships. This also applies to business plans. All right. So if you are just starting out in your operation, or maybe you just have a concept right now, you're trying to take that idea, that concept from conception to creation. Here are some things you want to have kind of rolling around in your mind that's been helpful to us. All right. And what I've learned so far. And it'll be interesting, y'all are here for the ride, y'all here for the journey on our way up. It'll be interesting, like what we're able to pull this year, because I feel like every time something comes through, I get a little bit sharper, right? And I learned a little bit more. And so I'm like, oh, okay, next time I would tweak this or do this or say this, right? Or word this that way, right? So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Number one. And these, let me see. Would I say these are in a particular order? Not necessarily in a particular order. I'm not going to say number one is the most important. I think, to be honest with you, the top three are probably all equally important, to be honest with you. So, number one, all right, tell a compelling story. Tell a compelling story. What do I mean by a compelling story? If most free money opportunities, grant opportunities, scholarships, even sponsorships, things of that nature, most of them are competitive, right? You're not the only one who's going after this pile of money or pot of money, right? And so when you tell a compelling story, you're really making yourself stand out, right? And be memorable, I think, in this sea of people, right? In this sea of competitors, right? So when you tell a compelling story, it's not just, we really would like this money because we're really in need and we have a good cause and a great mission and this will help us go a long way. Nah, dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Like, why? What makes you special? What makes you stand out? All right. Compelling story sell. All right. Think about if you've ever watched Shark Tank, right? I think in the UK it's called it's something with dragons. I just started listening to this new, let me find it real quick. This new podcaster. Well, he's not new, but he's new to me. And it's called The Diary of a CEO. And he is apparently, and I've never watched it. Oh, it's called The Dragon's Den. The Dragon's Den in the UK. But he apparently is one of the members of the Dragon's Den, which is like the UK version of Shark Tank, if I'm not mistaken. Never seen it. I happened upon this individual and I really like the podcast. So if you've never heard of it, you might want to check it out. Again, it's called The Diary of a CEO. But think about Shark Tank. If you've ever seen Shark Tank, the people who make it on Shark Tank, that's another competitive space, right? I'm sure they have thousands and thousands of applicants. And out of those thousands of applicants, they narrow it down to the people who actually make it on the show. And then the people who actually make it on the show, they have to narrow it down even further to the people who actually get to present, be televised. And from those people, there's the smaller number of people who actually get a deal with the shark, right? So the premise of Shark Tank, if you've never seen it, is a panel of entrepreneurs who are all high earners, like high net worth individuals who are looking for a business opportunity to invest in, and they lend their expertise, right? And so on Shark Tank, these people who want these deals with the sharks, want their money, want their mentorship and expertise, they have to come pitch their business to this panel and hope that someone is interested enough to take a liking to them to want to offer them a deal, right? Usually for a trade of some type of equity, right? So in the business. So think about that. Think about that when you are throwing your hat into the ring for these opportunities, is that there's this big pool. That pool has to be narrowed down to a smaller pool. And from that smaller pool, we might take just a couple, just a handful, right? So what makes you stand out? If you don't know what to say, how to say it, watch a few episodes of Shark Tank. I'm not going to tell you exactly what you should say because it depends on your business. It depends on your vision, your mission. It depends on a lot of variables, right? But if you need some practice or some ideas or like, what should I say? How should I say it? How do I make myself stand out? How do I tell a compelling story? Watch Shark Tank. That's my tip for that. All right. Sub tip. So that's like 1B. All right. Second thing, be likable. Be likable. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. If you're not likable, right? Off rip, you're man, you're doing yourself a disservice. This book happens to be sitting here. I'm on my second read of this book. Third, maybe, actually. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I have a little list, a little note in my phone of books that I want to read, right? So I suggest either read or do the audio version or both, right? I suggest you add this to your list if you've never read this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That should be at the top of your list. Put that at the top of your list. And if you have read it before, read it again. Read it again. It's so good. There's so many gems, right? But be likable. Be likable. And be transparent with people too. Like, don't misrepresent, right? This is like a subcategory to number 2. But be transparent, highlight your areas of expertise, but don't hide potential areas for growth. What do I mean? If you think back to the last time you went on a job interview, right? If you read tips and tricks about how to interview, one of the things they always tell you is that if someone asks you, an interviewer asks you, what are your strengths and weaknesses? One strategy that you will likely see pop up is turn your weakness into a strength. Turn it into a strength. So don't hide any potential areas of growth or weaknesses, air quotes, right? But you want to highlight your expertise. And the way you can flip the weakness or area of growth is to say, that's why we need you. That's why we need your help, right? And extend that and kind of flip that onto the person that you are seeking funding from, right? Um, be trustworthy. That's part of the being likable too. That's another subsection of being likable. Because if you're not trustworthy, how do I know you're going to deliver on things that you're promising? You're making all these grandiose statements of what you're gonna do and all that, but if I don't seem like I don't feel like I can really trust you, right? Are you gonna do what you say you're gonna do? All right. Number 3, be knowledgeable about your market and your needs. Be knowledgeable about your market and your needs. What do I mean by that? Let's say, for instance, you're going to an angel investor and you're saying you need money, right? Let's just make it a low number. I need $10,000 to help get my business started, right? Or to acquire a piece of equipment that I need, right? You need to be knowledgeable about that. Let's say you need a fryer. I need fryers for my mobile unit to be able to offer an additional menu item, right? We want to fry some fries. We want to fry some wings. We love a good chicken wing, right? Um, be knowledgeable about, well, how many of your competitors are offering that on their menu? Have you looked at the competition? And then what kind of fryer do you need? Oh, well, I'm not really sure. I know it needs to be a commercial fryer. Da, da, da. Well, what brand? What who who sells it? What's the vendor? Have you looked at prices or did you just pull this number out of the air? How do you know it's 10,000? Right? Be knowledgeable about your market and your needs. Okay? What are you going to do with the money when you get it? Okay? So this most recent grant that we got for $5,000, I had to submit a detailed budget of how we're going to allocate every single dollar. It's not like they're like, yeah, we're just going to write you a check and put it on one of those big cardboard checks that you see that you might have seen on TV or something, right? And hand it over and everything's hunky dory. Nah, they want to know where it's going. They want to know where that money is going, down to the cent. All right. And so what are you going to do with it? What vendors are you going to utilize? How much are the items that you need? Right? Be knowledgeable. Right. Number 4. Once again, we're talking about my top 5 tips to get this free money that's out here. All right. From grants to sponsorships to angel investors investing in your business plan. These are the top 5. All right. Number 4, effective time management. Don't wait until the last minute to throw together a proposal or your plan or your vision statement or your to fill out the application, whatever the case may be. It's not a one size fits all. Every application, if there's an application process, is could be slightly different. Okay. So you want to look through it before the deadline, right? So you know exactly what information you need to gather, what you need to reflect on and think about. Have somebody read over your submission before you submit it, right? So my colleague, who's been on the show, let me see what episode. What episode was Miss Burgess? My distinguished colleague, Mrs. Burgess. I had her on read over my work. Okay, and so not that I felt like I wasn't capable of doing it on my own. Um, but a second set of eyes, oh my goodness, so powerful. So powerful. You should always, if you can, have somebody read over anything that you're submitting in writing. Now, people are busy. Believe it or not, people are not just sitting around waiting on you to come call and submit your request for what they should do with their time. Right. So I don't want to wait till the last minute to put it on her desk and ask her to look it over. I want to give her plenty of time to take a look, offer suggestions, offer edits, and then have the time to go back and tweak and edit and implement those things. I don't want to be rushed in doing that. Right. Because that's when mistakes happen. If you're rushed. I'm trying to look back and see what episode. You know what? I think I said this last time, or time before last. I was looking at trying to find an episode. I need to do a master list of every episode and the numbers so I don't have to look every time. That will help me be more effective. Like, right? She was episode number, I'm gonna link it at the end. 21. Episode 21. She dropped gems. Let me jot a note. She dropped gems on that episode. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. So have somebody read over your work, okay? Before you submit whatever it is you're submitting. All right. If you're not subscribed yet, please just go ahead right now and click subscribe or follow the channel so you know how to get back when you want to come consume some more content. Thank you for being here. Make sure you share this with a friend, okay, or colleague who is in culinary arts and or hospitality arena. Welcome them into the fold. All right, welcome them into the fold. Talking about the top 5 tips to get this free money. Here's the last one, number 5. Ooh, before I move to number 5, I got to tell y'all what grandma said. To be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late. All right, so that's related to that number 4, effective time management. Don't wait till the last minute, try to throw something together. Make sure you get it to whoever's going to edit it, proofread for you. And be early. Submit it early. If it's due at midnight on a specific day, don't wait until 11:58 p.m. and try to go click submit. It might be some other people doing that. Y'all might crash the site. Right? Don't wait till 11:58. Be early. Submit it early. It'll be all right. Okay. Last one, number 5. Actively search and be proactive. Actively search and be proactive. I'm also going to do like subcategory communicate. All right. So search, be proactive, communicate. You never know who around you has access to an opportunity you may not be aware of. If they don't know that you're standing in the need, right, then they don't know to connect you to that opportunity. Okay. So actively search and be proactive. It's not going to necessarily just fall into your lap. Sorry to tell you. All right. So you might, it's free money, but you're going to pay in time to get that. Right. So that's time, putting your name out there, asking for things, communicating, networking, looking for opportunities, and then actually putting effort into applying. Okay. Let everybody around you kind of know what your goals are, what you're looking for, what you need, so that if and when they hear of an opportunity, they can slide it on your way. that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you. All right. So, number one, tell a compelling story. Number two, be likable. Number three, be knowledgeable about your market and your needs. Number four, let's do some effective time management. Number five, actively search and be proactive. Okay. So, I've had the opportunity to tap into an angel investor in the past. I've had the opportunity to tap into this $5,000 of free money most recently. I've had the opportunity to get a sponsorship in the way of um, uniforms for students who were competing, right? One of my colleagues knew of a church who was willing to donate shoes for us to go and compete in a culinary competition. Now, if I had never opened my mouth and said, "Hey, I need help," this is what we're trying to do, then she wouldn't have known that, and she wouldn't have been able to make that connection for us. Right? So guys, like, open your mouth, talk, be proactive, be prepared. If someone says, "Oh, I'd love to help you with that." Well, what do you need? When do you need it by? What do you need it for? Like, be prepared to answer those questions. Don't think it's an invasion, right? Be prepared to offer that information, right? And go get the money. Go get the money. Let's get it. It's out there for y'all. So go get it. If you need me to look over a grant application, let me know. I'd be happy to help if I can. All right. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Y'all know what to do. I'll see y'all next week. Go get the money. Go get the money.